weather for our Thursday. A quick glance at some of those rainfall reports from around our area. Some spots seeing a good drink of water earlier today, like Mason City, Glenville picking up over 3/10, just shy of a ½ inch in the Mason City area. Adams about 3/10, a quarter of an inch in the Albert Lea area. But as you would go further north, less and less rainfall happening. So northwest Rochester review a report of about 2/100 of an inch. The Rochester International Airport, 1/100th of an inch, about 4/10 towards Marion, 6/10 towards the Dodge Center. And if you're more visual like myself, it's a good way to see here with our radar estimated rainfall amounts. You can see the bulk of that rainfall really staying south of I-90 and particularly through northern Iowa, picking up the bulk of that rainfall today. So certainly keeping an eye on a little more wet weather. Nothing really happening at this point in time. A few spotty showers there towards Rice County, but really we should be staying relatively dry here through the rest of tonight. Next couple of days, though, keeping an eye on some stray to isolated shower and thunderstorm chances between Friday and Saturday. Maybe early Sunday, but from there, a relatively dry trend as we continue into next week. We'll monitor a couple more stray chances by Tuesday and Wednesday. However, as we look ahead to tomorrow, extending into Saturday, there's a chance we could see some excessive rainfall, some heavy rainfall maybe at play, especially for folks in Iowa. So looking here at our excessive rainfall outlook, you can see a good chunk of the viewing area in a level 1 risk, a level 2 risk for our southernmost counties there in North Iowa. Notice though where the heaviest rainfall could be setting up along the I-80 corridor through central and southern Iowa. Locally, a lot of us could maybe be picking up a few tenths of an inch of rainfall, especially again south of I-90 into North Iowa, looking to see some higher amounts. But notice where we had that level 3 excessive rainfall outlook, could be looking at upwards of 2 to 3+ inches. Tomorrow, keeping an eye on the chance for those increasing shower chances, more so towards the afternoon, evening hours. High temperatures across the board, looking to stay seasonably cool into those mid-80s. So just off of average by a couple degrees. We'll monitor those upcoming rain chances late Friday into early Saturday, maybe even into early Sunday as well. But temperatures staying in the 70s here for the next 7 to 10 days. We certainly saw a little bit of some rainfall here in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, more so in North Iowa this morning. So a bit of a wet start to the day. And a lot of those rain totals were very dependent on where you did and maybe did not see that rainfall. Looking at our visual look here at that radar indicated rainfall amounts, you can see along I-90 and north, really not much rainfall happening or accumulating, I should say. But south of I-90, especially through North Iowa, some very beneficial moisture falling in that direction. So as we look at some of our viewer reports of rainfall totals, you can see as of this morning, Mason City just shy of that ½ inch mark, just shy of 4/10 towards Glenville, 3/10 in Adams, just a quarter of an inch in Albert Lea. Notice towards northwest Rochester, just 2/100 of an inch of rainfall there, 1/100th in the Rochester at the Rochester International Airport. Heading into tomorrow, we will continue to keep an eye on some slightly cooler than normal temperatures, but expecting to see some rain chances then as we move towards the end of the day. So a little more moisture on the way, monitoring the latest details, timing, and potential totals coming up in your full forecast in just a bit.
Awesome. Thank you for that weather update, Sarah.
We have been keeping an eye on some rain chances throughout today, and most of that ended up in Iowa. Let's talk about the next big thing, and that's another set of some rain chances as we enter into the early part of the weekend. So heading towards later tomorrow, extending into Saturday, we'll be keeping an eye out for some isolated shower and thunderstorm activity here in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa, maybe lingering into early Sunday, but for the most part, a relatively quieter stretch of weather next week. Of course, monitoring the potential for maybe some additional rain chances by Tuesday, Wednesday, so middle of next week. But a big focus here, first and foremost, is going to be on the next couple of days. There is a chance for some heavy rainfall, and that looks to stay just to our south. So as we look at that excessive rainfall outlook, you can see it through kind of the central and southern half of Iowa, from the I-35 region towards the Mississippi River, looking at a level 3 risk of excessive rainfall for that part of Iowa. So just outside of the local viewing area. Closer to home, though, some of our North Iowa counties under a level 2 risk, and the Minnesota counties looking at a level 1 risk. So there's a chance the southern part of our local viewing area could be looking at some heavy rainfall between Friday into Saturday. I do think the greater risk for heavy rainfall, excessive rainfall even, looks to stay just to our south. So continuing to fine tune those forecast details, especially when it comes to timing for rainfall. I think the better chance will be later in the day Friday. So I think the morning hours, dry and quiet for tomorrow. We'll be mainly looking after about 3, 4, to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So depending on your location, if you're closer to Mankato, maybe a little bit earlier in the afternoon, Rochester area leaning towards that 4 p.m. time frame around there. We'll see rain chances continuing to increase, becoming more isolated through that evening commute, more scattered as we look towards the overnight. And I think that's when we have the best potential to pick up the bulk of our rainfall. And we'll gradually be looking at those rain showers tapering off as we head towards Saturday morning. Overall, a decent amount of rainfall possible through southern Minnesota, northern Iowa. We could be looking at 1/4 of an inch on the lower side, upwards of, say, an inch or so for those totals locally. Notice, though, as we look just to our south between Waterloo, Des Moines towards Davenport, that area could be looking at, say, 2 to 3+ inches of rainfall. And again, that's right where that level 3 risk for excessive rainfall is. Here at home, though, we will be keeping an eye on temperatures sitting into those 70s for tomorrow. 7-day forecast for the Mankato area, monitoring some upcoming shower and thunderstorm chances between Friday afternoon into early Saturday. Temperature-wise, not bad. Looking at mainly seasonal temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. Here's that 10-day forecast for the Rochester region. No 80s in sight there on our 10-day forecast. We are, of course, monitoring those possible rain chances here in the next few days. I will say, if you're looking to get outside this weekend, Sunday probably to be the surefire day to see widespread sun throughout the day.
Yeah, you know, even with the rain coming, I always like to go home and like kind of cozy up with a blanket and a good book.
That's definitely a good thing to do on kind of those quieter, rainy, kind of more gray days. Definitely stay a little more cozied up.
Yeah, especially now that we're finally getting into that fall weather a little bit.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We will, yes. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9.
We managed to see some dry conditions and dry out the second half of our Thursday. Recap here from the morning. Certainly a wet start to the day in northern Iowa today. The rest of us, though, not as much rainfall was accumulated. Looking ahead to tomorrow, kind of a similar story where we have some drier conditions throughout the morning, and then as we look ahead to the afternoon, we will continue to see some overcast sky, but we'll be bringing in some straight isolated showers, maybe a few thunderstorms rumbling in there as well towards the second half of tomorrow. So looking at that rainfall timing, what we're expecting to see some wet weather late Friday extending into Saturday. Now, I think things will stay pretty sparse, some straight isolated activity here as we move towards late afternoon into those early evening hours. Probably a better chance for rainfall accumulation in the area will be more so towards the overnight. So as we look towards Saturday morning, then kind of a sneak peek ahead to the start of the weekend, we'll see those showers kind of gradually wrapping up and looking to see some drier conditions as we move towards Saturday afternoon. I think then we'll be able to kind of salvage the second half of the day. But if you're really looking to spend some time outside, no issues with rain. Sunday will probably be the better day. But I'll break down more of those forecast details coming up in just a bit.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
We are looking ahead to see some dry conditions to kick off the start of our Friday. However, keeping an eye on the opportunity for some more rain chances possible Friday night into Saturday. We'll keep an eye on those latest First Alert forecast details, and I'll share with you what we know so far. Looking ahead to the start of the weekend in your First Alert forecast next.
Here's your First Alert weather with meteorologist Sarah Gannon.
We had that bit of rainfall earlier today, and as we look ahead to the start of the weekend, tracking a little bit more rainfall for our region. So let's talk about the next big thing, and that is that upcoming rain chance. No major system, though, but we will take the moisture while we can get it. And I don't think it'll be complete washouts here, either Friday or Saturday. We should be able to salvage kind of the second half of Saturday, but if you're looking to get outside all day long, Sunday is probably going to be your best bet. Tomorrow, a dry start, and we kind of gradually increase those rain chances as we look ahead to the afternoon and evening. Concern, though, for some heavy rainfall, especially into Iowa, and more importantly, just south of our viewing area. Notice here we have a level 3 out of 4 risk for excessive rainfall in central Iowa from Des Moines to Davenport, kind of right along that I-80 corridor. Closer to home, kind of balancing between that level 1 and level 2 risk. So some of our southernmost counties in North Iowa could be in for some heavy rainfall comes Friday night into early Saturday. So monitoring things closely. I do think, though, the greatest risk for heavy rainfall, excessive rainfall, maybe some localized flooding should stay just south of our local viewing area. In terms of timing, we've mentioned it before. We are keeping an eye on Friday afternoon, kind of that evening time frame to start to see some of that rainfall developing, moving into the area, likely to start off very stray to isolated in manner, perking up maybe a little bit more as we move it towards the overnight hours. And as we look ahead to Saturday, then you can see the morning hours. We'll gradually see these showers kind of tapering off by about 9, 10 o'clock, kind of mid-morning, we should be looking at these showers kind of gradually coming to an end. So we should be able to salvage the second half of our Saturday. A decent drink of water for many of us in terms of those upcoming rainfall amounts. I think if you're north of Highway 14, lesser amounts, maybe 1 to 2/10, quarter inch at the most, but I do think a good chunk of the viewing area could be looking at more half of an inch towards 3/4 to maybe an inch on the higher side for total rainfall when it comes to Friday and Saturday. Looking though just to our south, notice all of the purples and the reds. This is where again we have that level 3 risk for excessive rainfall, and I think totals towards Waterloo, Des Moines, at Davenport could be upwards of 2 to 3+ inches. So heaviest rainfall again should stay just south of our viewing area, but if you're in North Iowa there between Chickasaw, Floyd, Howard, or excuse me, Grand Meadow, or excuse me, Cerro Gordo County and Hancock County, likely to see maybe the higher rainfall amounts. But heading into tomorrow, we'll be looking at those temperatures towards those mid-70s, more clouds than sun given our upcoming rain chances, but monitoring the potential for a little more moisture here the next couple of days. And we'll get a couple dry days in a row there, Sunday into Monday, some nice sun, but monitoring next week, maybe a couple more rain chances Tuesday into Wednesday. So again, if you're looking to get outside this weekend, I don't think it's a washout at all, but if you're looking to spend all day outside, Sunday leaning to be probably the better day to get some time outside.
I'm looking forward to the humidity maybe starting to break away a little bit, not be so sticky.
I think most folks are with you there. I'm with you as well, but I think a couple days here, I think towards Sunday into Monday, we should be able to see just a brief break in that humidity.
All right, thanks, Sarah. We'll be right back.
We are gearing up for a couple more rain chances in the next few days. A look at that 7-day forecast for Austin, Mason City, and Winona, monitoring those straight, isolated, maybe even scattered thunderstorm chances here between Friday and Saturday. I think the bulk of that rainfall expected overnight, but don't be surprised to see some showers, some rumbles of thunder moving in later Friday towards the afternoon hours and especially into those evening and late night hours. But heading into Saturday morning, I think there's a chance there through about before the lunch hour, and then I think we should be able to salvage the afternoon with some dry conditions there into the evening hours as well. Heading into Sunday, probably our better day to spend all day outside. Temperatures here in the next couple of days looking to be seasonal, if not slightly cooler than normal. We'll see those high temperatures staying towards those mid-70s to upper 70s. Monday, also a great start to the upcoming work week. We'll also monitor some additional shower and thunderstorm chances by Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Monitoring that, but for focus, first and foremost is going to be Friday nights and into Saturday. That's a look at your first alert forecast. We'll be right back. Let's take a look at our garden gallery winner this evening. A beautiful sunflower. Looking for that sunshine here the next couple of days on as we track a little more rainfall. But hey, congratulations to Dan in Austin for being tonight's garden gallery winner with that beautiful sunflower. As Dan, you can head on over to Custom Retaining Wall and Landscaping to pick up your $10 gift card. Folks at home, it's easy to get involved with garden gallery. Send in your submission to garden@kttc.com. Make sure to take that photo horizontally and make sure to include your name and phone. Your name and where the photo was taken, and even include the type of flower if you'd like to. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we will see some dry conditions to kick off the day. Temperatures looking to be fairly seasonal into those mid to upper 70s. Mid to upper 70s will be for most of us. A couple spots looking at maybe hitting that 80 mark there towards Winona into Red Wing. Overall, not too bad of a day. We will be looking at some dry conditions to kick off the day and gradually bringing in some rain chances as we head towards more so evening hours extending into early Saturday. Not a washout this weekend, but if you are looking to just get outside all day long, Sunday, probably your best bet, as we'll see more sunshine than clouds come Sunday. But temperature-wise, not much to complain about. Looking pretty comfortable the next few days.
Very comfortable for middle of August.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mother Nature will have some nice